I'm going to be recording. Okay, hi everybody. That's just one person right now, two people, including my nephew from Rolla, Missouri. A good shout out to my dearest nephew, Franz Kindle. And welcome to my first webinar on intermittent fasting and the basics of intermittent fasting, the benefits of intermittent fasting, how it can help you, and why I'm very encouraged about it for myself and everyone else I come in contact with, because it's just an amazing way to maintain your health, to create your health, and to lose weight even. There's a lot of wonderful benefits to it that I'm going to cover. So people have a lot of questions about fasting. It sounds as though um, it's people have too many questions in terms of they're not sure what it even means. Is it safe for them? It sounds very scary to people to not eat. That's for sure. I would say at least twice a day, I see patients in my acupuncture office that say, I can't fast. Hi, Sandra.
Hey,
Uh,
honey.
how are you? You and my nephew are on the line. Okay, this is great. Um, so I was beginning by just explaining that intermittent fasting is very scary for people because they don't understand that it's not just starving yourself. Okay. I just want to get my story over very quickly, and that is that I'm 67 years old. I was a nurse anesthetist for lots of years, and I then went into alternative medicine about 10 years ago because I could see that people were not being healed from certain things in the regular traditional medical world. And I mean chronic issues like diabetes and like hypertension and like chronic migraines, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, even irregular periods or all kinds of terrible things, dry eye syndrome. There are so many things that the doctors would just tell the patients, go home and live with this. I'm sorry, I can't help you. You are going to live with this chronic issue. And because I was furious about this. I thought, how could you tell a patient to go away? And how can you tell somebody, you'll just have to live with this. You could look up something for them to do to make them more comfortable. And little did I know there was this whole world of alternative medicine, including acupuncture and Chinese medicine and Tai Chi and homeopathy and herbal medicines and all these other things that are really wonderful to tap into, that are meant to, God put them into the world for us to tap into, in addition to regular Western medicine. And so I'm not going to ever bash Western medicine completely. I think it has its place, obviously. I mean, I was practicing medicine for years and years, and so does my husband. But we know that there's a lot of flaws there, and there's a lot of issues that could have been or can be taken care of if you pay attention. And one of them is in the area of nutrition, and fasting is one of those areas. So fasting is something, it just want to explain, it's not just starving yourself. And that's a very scary concept for people. Yeah, I was going to tell my story. The story is that I've been on and off fasting for a lot of years, and I don't think I was doing it right. And I sometimes would do it, I would lose a little weight. My motivation was to lose weight and to be healthier also. I was steadily gaining weight over the years, and I just couldn't stop myself. And I couldn't even get myself together to lose weight for my kids' weddings. And so I look at those pictures now and I went, oh man, why didn't I? But I didn't. So in any case, I did. I can go down now and maybe we can superimpose. What do they call it? You create the whatever a new picture in the photograph or whatever, and replace it with a new one. No, but I wasn't afraid to fast. I was just afraid that I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't paying attention to it. I wasn't really taking it seriously. And I just want to just say up front that anytime somebody wants to improve their health or lose weight or both, it usually goes together. It involves a commitment. It's just that there's no two ways around that. And I was listening to a webinar last night in one of my coaching classes that they have a woman who teaches us once in a while meditation and how to get into people's heads to get them into the right mindset for changing their lifestyle to be more healthy. And she said, you have to make a commitment every single day. She said, you can say, on what I did on December 1st, the last year. I said, I'm going to start losing weight because my husband was out of town and I didn't have any excuses that I had to make him dinner, that I had to do this, I had to do that. And that I had to work around anybody else's schedule. It was all about myself. So I was able to take that opportunity and prepare the foods that I want to, the way I want to, and when I want to. So I knew all the rules about the intermittent fasting, and I really followed them very closely. And it was hard. It was very, very strict and very, very hard. But I did remember that you make that commitment, but you can go a few days being busy with just life. And you forget you made that commitment to do whatever it is, whether it's a diet or whether you're trying to learn more Torah lessons or whether you're trying to find a job or, be better at your job or be better parenting or whatever you're doing. If you're making that commitment, it's actually something you have to to affirm in yourself every single day, which is something I really never thought of. I thought, okay, you made that statement, I'm going to do this. But you have to really be your own cheerleader and talk yourself into it. And if you're waiting for someone else to say, "Oh, here's your magic pill," it's not gonna work, and it's gonna be a setup for failure or at least big discouragement anyway. So just wanted to say that she recommended that we tell our clients to put a post-it note on the mirror every single morning or on the refrigerator or whatever in your coffee pot, something you look at when you first wake up. And it's not a bad idea because it really is, if you've got a goal, whatever the goal is, and here we're talking about intermittent fasting and health and weight loss, it's got to be reminded every single day. And the only one that's going to do that is you, because no one's going to call you on the phone. Even if you have a coach, and these people are paying tons of money to coaches, by the way. Cannot believe it. I have a friend who lives here in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and she went to somebody who wasn't even a coach, but somebody who said she was very knowledgeable about fasting. And she gets her on the a Zoom meeting once a week, 1-to-1 for an hour for like $150 an hour. And it's and my friend hasn't lost any weight, and she doesn't really know any more than she did before. And she said she feels uncomfortable telling the lady she doesn't want to talk to her anymore because she said they just talk and talk and talk for an hour. What is this lady coaching her in? What is she doing? I don't really know. But I said, I'm in training right now. You should come to me for free because I'm not charging right now. Anyway, so let's talk about fasting because I don't have that much time left. I have a free service on my Zoom. I don't have the extended program. And I started at 25 after, so I have like 30 minutes more. Let's talk about what is fasting anyway. So it's not starvation. It's not starving yourself because starving yourself means you don't have any food to eat. Your body's in a crisis, yeah, because you're not giving it the nutrients, but it's one of these things you choose to volunteer to do. Okay, it's a voluntary abstinence from food. And so we do that all the time for religious reasons. We do Yom Kippur. If you're Jewish, you can do it for the other holidays, the Muslims do it too for Ramadan. There's other Jews that or other non-Jews that do fasting for love, for health, and for their religion. So you're always in control anyway with intermittent fasting. You're not starving like you're searching for food. God forbid, I hope that nobody ever finds themselves in that situation. So it just means there's food available to you, but you're choosing not to eat it at that moment. And you choose from several different routines of fasting, and meaning that you choose a time of day where you're going to allow yourself to eat for a certain number of hours, and then the rest of the time you don't eat anything. And you can drink water, you can drink coffee without any milk, you can drink like non-sugary mineral supplements or juices if you have things that don't have sugar added, teas, you can add ginger, you can add cucumbers, you can add, all kinds of teas to your water, which is what I recommend. So anyway, you're just abstaining from food, and it's real hard to do in the beginning, but like everything, after about a week, it takes about a week, maybe 5 days, then you're suddenly in a routine and it feels pretty good. And your body actually likes not having so many calories, and it really likes taking a rest from having to digest all the time. And there's this one school of thought that talks about losing weight because they talk about the body's inability to go without food because then it starts to hang on to the calories. So you're actually reversing what you want to do. And that's not true. The body doesn't hang on to food so that because you didn't put any into it. It starts to go to work and switch to a different method of fuel source. It doesn't hang on to fat and hang on to calories because you didn't eat for 2 hours. It is not true. And scientifically especially. And also if people are doing things like eating every 2 hours, think about how often the body has to focus on digestion and all the efforts that it takes and all the blood that it takes and all the volume that it takes and all the processes, all the chemical processes. Your body doesn't have a chance to rest. And so luckily we have the sleeping time. That's an automatic fasting for most people. But when you go into intermittent fasting, you just delay your eating in the morning a little bit if you can. Yes, I have another woman in my office often, and she said, I can't go past 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you can't go past 8 o'clock in the morning. So can you go to 8:30 though? Can you try to just push it to 8:30? Can you push it to 9 o'clock in the morning? Can you try to delay it a little bit? And when you go into intermittent fasting, which means because someone just joined us, which means you abstain from food, but you do drink liquids for a certain number of hours a day, and you I mean, you abstain from food for most of the day and you eat only certain hours. You could choose to eat during a 4 hour window, an 8 hour window. I'm going to show a slide in a minute that explains all the different choices. You could pick any choice anytime you want. You could pick a 10 hour eating window. I personally like to do 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of fasting. And the truth of the matter is, I am so busy all the time that I end up not really even eating in that 8 hour window. I usually end up being a 4 hour window for me. And I have to make sure I eat because I will forget to eat during the day. And always been like that, by the way. But then I would overeat at night. That's where I was going wrong with intermittent fasting in the past. I would think it's not really harming anything to, it's just tonight, eat at 10 o'clock at night. Well, no, it really does. It means everything you do means something. So you just want to make sure you're in control of the process. And if you don't feel good at any time, you just stop it. You just stop the fasting. You don't have to be, a hero, and you don't have to punish yourself. It's not about punishing yourself. And actually, after about a few weeks of doing this, you actually look forward to it. You look forward. I had a friend who told me it felt wonderful not having to prepare so much food all the time and spend so much money on food all the time. And the truth is, just by taking that window and eating in that certain window of the day, you're automatically cutting calories right there. So you're setting yourself up already for success. So you're eating less hours, you're eating less food. Your body doesn't have to work so hard to digest all the time. So who should fast and who shouldn't fast? Okay, that's a big question also. So we know that the nutrients, we need a certain number of nutrients to survive and to burn fuel for every part of every chemical process of our body. And you're not eating, so you're not bringing those nutrients in. But here's a certain group, but almost everybody can do this, almost everybody. And here are the people that are not allowed to fast, okay? If you're pregnant, if you're nursing, you need all those nutrients. If you're a little child, no little children should be doing this. They need to be nourished all the time. There are people who are maybe that might have eating disorders, and those people have issues with eating anyway. It's probably not such a good idea because they might take it to an extreme. And if they do it, they should do it with a coach or some therapist that can really help them through it, because it is important to get all the nutrients you need. Um, Also, the people that shouldn't, diabetics who are insulin dependent diabetics. But people who are taking oral medications can do this. Absolutely. And this is another thing I get from people who they say, my doctor says I can't fast because I have to take my medicine with food. Okay, that's fair enough. But maybe you can adjust your medication taking schedule so it's at the time that you're eating. So if you're eating it for 8 hours a day, for sure you can find those, I would think, and I have helped people do this, they can take their medicines in that eating window. So it doesn't have to affect your body to that degree. It doesn't have to make you sick to your stomach. It doesn't have to make you dizzy. You have to lie down because you're taking your medicine, or nausea because you're taking your medicine without any food. So, okay. So that's one thing. When to fast is another question. I want to just bring up a little slideshow here and let's see if I'm doing this properly. Probably not. Bum, bum, bum. Let's say I want to share the slideshow. Okay, let's share this. Can anybody see the slide? People can see it?
Yes,
You can see.
yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so there are many different ways to fast, but here's just 4 examples of doable fasting schedules. And it's not a very clear slide because I see the colors are kind of, the words are white and they're not easy to read. Okay, you can do the 16/8. That's what I try to do, okay? That means I pick the 8 hours that I want and I try to start eating at noon and I eat until 8 o'clock at night. And the reason I do it that way is because I want to eat dinner with my family when they're around or my husband. And often I go to weddings and things like that. And I don't want to have to deprive myself and be cruel to myself. Everybody else is eating dinner at a wedding and I can't have anything. And we go to a lot of weddings, thank goodness. I just went to one last week. So that's what I choose to do. And then I don't, and when the rest of the time, I just drink fluids, like water, a lot of water has to be drunk. I drink a lot of green tea. I don't put any sweeteners. I don't need that. I cut out sugar a really long time ago, which is a wonderful thing to do too. Some people do 10 hours of eating and 14 hours of fasting. So there's different times here. You can pick any time you want. This is just an example. There's something called OMAD, or 1 meal a day. Now that's what I end up doing quite a lot. I just did that tonight, and I don't really like the way I feel when I do that because it just doesn't settle really well. I ate like right close to 8 o'clock. I tried to get my food in there, and it probably wasn't even enough food for the day. And I ate it so fast that I was trying to get the calories in there. And that's the funny thing is, you start to fasting and your cravings almost disappear. It's really unbelievable because not only are you fasting, but you're also having to diet too. And the good news is that you'll lose weight and you'll get healthier. But the bad news is that you do have to cut out. I don't care what diet you go on. You can call it intermittent fasting. You can do whatever you want to call it. Ketogenic diet. You can do all these different diets that are out there now. I don't even know the names of them. They all require some kind of restriction, and they all require some kind of discipline. It's the discipline, and it's really hard to do in the beginning. Again, just like anything, it's really hard in the beginning. But once you get over that hump of a couple of days, it's really not terrible. It's really, really not terrible. So if you want to do short fasts during every single day, and I think what helped me jumpstart my weight loss finally, because I was losing a little bit of weight, but I started doing a 24-hour fast a week. And that's also something that's difficult for people to imagine. How am I going to go without food for 24 hours? And again, the first time I couldn't do it for months and months. I couldn't. I said, I can't. I'd go through like to get to the 8th hour or the 10th hour. And it's like, I got to have something because I would see someone else eating. And again, when my husband was away, I was much more disciplined. I was really trying hard. I would drink a lot of water or seltzer just to fill myself up. And once I went through to the first couple of 24-hour fasts, it got easier and easier. And I've even conducted a 3-day water fasts a few times, which I'm going to repeat again. I'm not going to talk about that too much tonight. That'll be on the next one. But you can do it once a month, you can do it once a week, you can do it every 3 months, whatever works for your body and for your mindset. But and there's no upper limit to it. There's no upper limit at all. You can vary it in any way you want. It's because you're in control. You have holidays to go through. You can figure out a way to work the holidays in there as well. And I'm not going to discuss examples with those, but there's so many reasons to break it, but there's so many reasons to keep it. So what are the reasons to do fasting, for one thing? One thing we can know, statistics show in terms of America anyway, and maybe Israel's not too far behind. They say that only 12% of Americans are metabolically fit. So what does that even mean? Metabolic flexibility is something that your body can do when it digests food. And your body will adjust to what you're doing and what you're giving it and what you're taking away from it to keep all the body functioning, all the body parts functioning, all the cells functioning at their optimum level. So when we are metabolically unhealthy, we have really unusual unhealthy spikes in our sugar, our blood fat, inflammation occurs, insulin resistance happens, and that means the body pumps out so much insulin, the body gets too used to it and it doesn't even work like it used to anymore. So fasting is like it's healing yourself again because it's not just a weight loss thing. Once you start to train your body to fast and go without food, you can still get energy in your body because your body makes a switch from glucose burning, sugar burning to fat burning. And that is what we really want. And for those of us who want to lose weight, but not only that, fat is so much more healthy for your body if you eat the healthy fats. I'm not talking about eating fats now, but your body is a huge number of percentage of the body. The brain is 75% fat. All the hormones are made of cholesterol. The cholesterol molecule is the beginning molecule of every single sex hormone, of insulin hormone, thyroid hormone, of everything, of all the different hormones in your body. Beginning of that molecule is cholesterol. And when we deprived ourselves of these kind of healthy fats all the years, I think that's how we got into so much trouble. Many, many experts are saying we're a more obese population than our parents even were because the way we were just worried too much about fat and we didn't care about the sugar, which was really doing the damage. So anyway, once you start getting your body used to fasting a little bit and you start to switch over to fat burning, it's called ketone burning. And you have heard of the ketogenic diet. That's something I try to do as superimposed onto this fasting. I try to eat a ketogenic lifestyle in order to facilitate and to accelerate my fat burning. So that means you're eating hardly any carbs, you're eating a majority of healthy fat, and you're eating just a little bit of protein every day. But you do need enough protein to keep yourself going, and everybody has individual needs, which I could help with making recommendations on that. So what does fasting do on a long term? So we're talking short-term fasts are very, very doable. And once you start doing them, it's really kind of fun to do. You look forward to it. I eat a lot of food on Saturdays. For those of you who don't keep the Shabbat meals, we eat a lot. So for me, it's easy. Right after I finish lunch on Saturday, I don't eat anything until lunchtime on Sunday. And at first it was very difficult. I was like, how am I going to make this? But you push yourself through the evening and then you're sleeping. You get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, let's say. Instead of reaching for something to eat, just drink your coffee with no milk and drink your juice, your non-sugar fluids, whatever they may be, teas and things. And then before you know it, keep busy also. Before you know it, it's 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever time you stopped. And even if you don't make it, look at how much you're helping your body by all the breakdown that goes down. And when you start with every hour that you go without food, it does more and more benefit for the body. And just a little slide here that I did very well. You can see what happens with every hour that you fast, more and more good stuff happens to your body. The body knows how to take care of you. The body is smart. The body is intelligent. It's not going to make you, it's not going to kill you. You're not going to die from not eating, especially if you're going to eat that part of the day anyway. So we're not talking about going 3 days or 4 days or 10 days without any nutrients at all. Because even if you do those extended fasts, you have to take some nutrients and there are ways to drink bone broth and take mineral supplements, salt supplements. There's things to do to prevent headaches and dizziness and all that. So here's what we could show you about going without food. I don't have this in the right order, do I? Okay, so let's say you did for the first 17 to 24 hours. There's something called autophagy that happens. And autophagy is just the body's at the cellular level is cleaning out all the junk, because it has to, it's like carrying a backpack of all the stuff that you have and you're walking for a really long time and then it's getting heavier and heavier. So you want to start taking stuff out of the backpack that you don't need anymore. So you want to keep just the essentials. So the body is doing that for you during your fasting state from 17 to 24 hours. It starts to clear up any kind of debris that's in the cell, any kind of toxins that are in the cell get booted out and kicked out. And now already you're doing a real big benefit to yourself by just fasting even up to 17 hours, okay, to 24 hours. So I feel healthier and I feel very energetic after a 24-hour fast. Then you can move on to 24 to 36 hours. So the gut health starts to repair itself. And you can see that's where the immune system is housed now too. The immune system starts to rebuild and the tissue repair starts to happen when you go 24 to 36 hours without food. And again, you're drinking, you're keeping hydrated, you're taking minerals and vitamins, and you are taking your medications if you need to. And there are ways to do that. You can eat things like almond, not almond paste, but almond butter, like organically grown organic butters of different types to give yourself the calories you need to take a medication or to prevent yourself from getting dizzy or upset, feel shaky or something from not eating. Okay, so as with every hour that goes by, more and more good things start happening to your body. And from 36 to 72 hours, body really starts to burn a ton of fat because it has to solely rely on your ketones that are produced by the fat. There's no more glucose in the body. Like also, there's glucose that's hidden away in the muscles and glucose that's hidden away in the near the bones and everywhere there's the little any kind of entryway for glucose. The body kind of sucks that all out. It uses that for energy, and once that's absent, it switches to that fat burning mode, and you're on fat burning mode the whole time, anytime after 72 hours. And then it says to you have a reset of the immune system, and something's not on here. There's something called stem cell activation, and the body gets activated you have stem cells in your body that are the cells that heal. They're the healing cells. People are getting stem cell injections now for cancer, stem cell injections for all kinds of chronic diseases and illnesses. And you have your own stem cells that are kind of asleep as you get older. You don't produce anymore after a certain age too, but you still have a bunch laying around and you can activate them. And people feel relief from arthritis after 72 hours. People feel that their irritable bowel is resolving. People feel like their headaches are going away. People feel like, and this is all in addition to the weight loss. Again, this is not a webinar about weight loss specifically, but I know a few people are interested in that. And of course, keeping a normal weight also just keeps you very healthy as well. Your heart doesn't have to work so hard. So we talked about the autophagy. There's a little picture of that. It's not that interesting in this picture. I thought it might be good, but the cellular waste just gets kicked out because the body doesn't need it anymore. And you have the cell now that is in really tip-top shape and really functioning at its optimum. So what about fasting? It says here on this little slide that fasting, when it's done correctly and for the right reasons, does something for you that cannot be explained with the human language. You become very aware of how habitual the act of eating is too. That's another thing. Your mindset, it changes so much about food. I kind of miss the way I used to look at food in a sense because I don't like it as much as I used to. I don't crave it. So I don't like nothing that turns me on like I used to. Like I used to go to the grocery store and say, wow, wouldn't this be amazing? Wouldn't this be amazing? And I even went to a prepared foods place tonight because I ran out of time to make dinner and not a thing looked good in there. Not a thing looked good because everything they load sugar. I bought green beans. They had sugar all over the green beans. Like it's like, I wanted to spit it out almost. And I don't, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, isn't it amazing how my body has changed? I didn't always have a sweet tooth anyway, but I always enjoyed sweet stuff. But I don't, for people to put sugar in foods and soups and meats, and I don't even understand that anymore. So you'll learn what your body wants to have and you'll add it in if you really need it. Some people still have to add in sweet stuff. I don't need to do that, but and that's helped me lose weight as well. So you want to know that this is one other thing too. It's just I wasn't going to talk about this because there's not much time, but you just want to make sure you are hydrated. You want to make sure you eat a very healthy dinner. They talk about the Mediterranean diet here, which we eat over here if we are behaving ourselves over here in the Mediterranean, and we're eating more vegetables than we are anything else. In fact, I'm running out of time. They're telling me now, so I'm going to just close it. If anybody has a question, or if anybody wants to contact me, I'd love you to call me and let me know what else we could talk about. I have a few other ideas. Talk about the 3-day water fast, which is very fun and very cool. And we'll carry on another webinar with more information on intermittent fasting. And I want to thank those of you who joined me. Any questions?
Thank you, Yehudis.
Thank you. Any questions before Zoom turns me off? That's it. Okay, guys, we'll be in touch another time. Thanks for listening. Have a great evening and good Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Take care.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye. Let's turn.
It looks like Franz has a question.
Who does?
Franz, your
Oh, hi,
brother.
Franz. My nephew. It's my
I
nephew.
meant your nephew. It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
you.
Let's see. Let me go. Oh, Franz, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that question. One second. I want to get rid of the slideshow.
It
Which
says, what about diabetes and IF?
diabetes, you can completely reverse your type 2 diabetes by eating this way. Completely. And get off all
Oh,
medications. It's been
oh,
done.
his sound isn't working. That's too
Okay.
bad.
All right. I'll answer him privately then.
Yeah, exactly. All
Alrighty.
right, bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
honey.
Nice,
Thanks a lot.
great
Thank you.
job.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't understand why I can't.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm trying to turn it off. Ah, there you
That's
are.
Baruch.
Oh,
Baruch's in the back.
hi. I thought it was.
He was listening too, but he's in the background.